This video is brought to you by my supporters on Patreon. Hey guys, I'm here with a video showing you how I finished off the hat for my Jester Sakura cosplay. I already have 2 videos up on how I patterned the hat and then made the base of the hat out of foam, and this video is going over how I made the hat cover. So to start off, I made the pattern by wrapping the foam hat base in plastic wrap and duct tape and then cutting it out. And then I laid that down on a piece of paper as flat as possible and traced around that to make a nicer pattern, the pattern that you see here. If you'd like to skip all of the patterning process, the pattern for most of her costume is up on my Store Envy and Etsy. Anyways, once the pattern was made, which is a pretty simple shape that you can see here, I just cut that out of some stretchy blue fabric, and then I pinned together the seams, which is all of the side seams, and sewed that down using a zigzag stitch. Once it was sewn together, I just trimmed off the excess fabric at the very pointed ends of the hat and then turned it right side out. To create the white cuffs that go around the opening of the hat, I trimmed just a rectangular strip of fabric off of the top of some old bed sheets and sewed down the side seams so that they had like a nice finished edge. You'll need 2 rectangular strips long enough to go around the back and around the front, but leaving a small gap between the front and back pieces at the sides. After that, I pulled the hat cover onto my foam hat base and then pulled the excess fabric inwards, pinned that down, and then secured it down with some hot glue. After that, I did a similar thing by pinning the white brim of the hat pieces, white little cuffs at the opening of the hat, into place, and then I hand sewed them down at either corner of both pieces and at the center of the piece. And I did this just to make sure that it didn't end up flopping forward or anything like that when it was worn. I just wanted it to be kind of secure and sewn into place. I just made a few small loops in each spot. It doesn't have to be anything super heavy duty because there's no real tension and it's not going to get pulled on or anything. Once the top edges were sewn into place, I used a glue gun and just hot glued the inside fold down the same way that I did with the blue hat cover. I spray painted some of those clear DIY plastic ornaments a goldish yellowish color, and then sewed those to the tips or the ends of either side of the hat. In order to make sure that the hat would be secured on my head, I sewed a couple clips to the front of the hat, and I just hand sewed these into place. I use these little clips that like snap open and close, but you could totally use something like a hair comb instead. The final detail to add to the hat were the little pieces that are at the side, the little dome circular shaped pieces, and to create this I used some Cosplay clay that I pressed into one of those DIY plastic clear ornaments and let it dry there and form to that shape. To be able to pop it out early, I did stick it in the freezer for about 30 minutes and popped it out and let it fully dry after that, so that I could make two at once. Cut the white circle base out of 4mm EVA foam, and then holding both of those together, I sanded the edges to make sure that they ended up being the same exact size. Once the clay foam pieces were fully dried, I used contact cement to glue those on top of the circular pieces. I primed these pieces with a few layers of wood glue once everything was glued together, and then a layer of spray paint primer, and then I painted the white on using airbrush paints. However, acrylic or spray paints work perfectly fine as well, and then I hand painted on the goldish yellowish color with acrylic paint and a brush. And then I sealed everything with a clear coat of glossy spray paint. After that, I glued those little dome pieces into place using contact cement. And that finishes up this build. Hopefully you guys found this video helpful, and stick around to see future cosplay videos. If you want to see the outcome of this cosplay, it's up on my Instagram and website, which are both linked down below. Thanks for watching, have a lovely day, and bye!